All right, so we just finished this one, and to give you a recap, what we did was we opened the PDF file of a structural notes like this, and we opened a PDF through the import PDF option in AutoCAD. So you have to go to Insert and Import PDF. That's what we did. And when we imported it, it opened it, no problem. But each of these lines of text are separate. And if you use ABCs, they're also separate objects. So very hard to manipulate, and that's just the case whenever you're importing a PDF in AutoCAD. So what we need to do is we need to be able to manipulate the width of this one. And so to manipulate the width, we do have to select the text in your PDF. So you can select the text by holding down, okay, by holding down your Control and Alt, and then you can select the text this way. And when you selected it, you can Control C and then go back to AutoCAD and simply do a Control V. Okay, and then you now have to edit this and make sure that it matches whatever the document says here. Okay, because like this one, it says a design soil bearing capacity of 2000 psf. That's your first one. And then if you look at here, a design soil bearing capacity of that system. So make sure that it is in order. Some of depending on how you selected the text, sometimes it's not in order. And then all you're going to do is put in your A period enter. It'll automatically do that. And then if you wanted to use your B, so we simply just backspace and then press enter. Okay, backspace, space, and then if this is a new letter, you backspace, press enter. Okay, so that's what we did for this one. The hardest parts that are easy to that are harder to do are whenever you have your letter C's and then you have a letter A, well, number one, two, three again. Okay, and so that's what we have here. So we have this one, something here, and it's and these numbers I think are not automatically, because if you press uh, backspace and put in one period enter, it'll just um, automatically try to put that there. It's very hard to move that. So we didn't do it that way. Uh, we just delete that and then press tab and then put number one, enter, and then you just delete this, remove bullets numbering, and then you start typing your your number one. Okay, so that's how we did that. Just a quick recap on how we did that. And the reason behind why we're doing this way is because we can now change the width of this, and uh, depending on the width of where we're going to place it, the box is manipulable. Did I say it right? Manipulable. So it could be skinny, it could be wide, and if we just leave it this way, we are now locked in to just using this width, and that's not what we want. Also, we sometimes want to add something here or change a word or two, depending what the engineer wants to do. Okay. For tables, you can create a table, right? So this is under home and then create a table, and then you can enter the table. Okay. So you can do it that way. If you want something easier to do, you can also do it this way. There's no table. These are just uh, these are just done using tabs. So press tab, it will move. Okay. And so you can do it that way too. Okay, um, so what we need to do now is we need to compose our S0 sheet. Okay, S0 sheet. So we're gonna save this first, and we're gonna open up all the structural sheets that we have. I believe we put it. I put it in S prelim. So that's what we have. And this is what we have so far. And what I did here was I copied the S dash one. So here's my S dash one. I simply right click and then I move or copy, and then I want to create a copy of S dash one. Uh, And so before S-1, I want to create a copy. So I click S-1 and then click OK. And it will create this here. And what I did was I click on that one and then I started to move some of the objects. So I just move this object wherever I want to move it. Okay. And then there you have that. And then I change this to S0. And then I also rename this to S0. Okay. There you go. So I did that already here. So I'm just showing you how I did it. So I'm gonna just delete this tab here. Okay, so that's my S0. I moved everything else. I also want to move this out of the way. So I'm gonna move this out of the way here. Okay, and then I have here one, two, three, four columns. Okay, if we look at the other drawings, they do have four columns too, but their width is a little bit different. Okay, so depending on your title block, they might not match. So we wanted to change that sizing. So let's go to viewport first, and then let's just use the divisions. Now, some of your title blocks will have not four, but maybe five divisions, and this width is not standard. Okay, so if we if we go back to our S notes, and let's say we copy this whole thing. So let's just try to copy. Yep. I selected this whole thing, and then let's just try to see if it'll fit. Control C, and then go back to my S prelim, and then Control V. Okay, so we can put it there like this, and it fits because it's normally a 440. Okay. Now the problem is now if we have a um, five columns, or if the engineer wanted not that wide. Okay. So how do we divide our space in five columns? Erase that. And you just simply do a line and then click from here diagonally, click onto here, and then we're going to divide. Let's enter. And then we're simply going to divide it not by using a block, but by just entering 5. So you can't see any divisions, but the blocks are there. So we can erase this line, and then you can see that there's a division line somewhere here. Okay, so we can do a, so if we select that, see there's a dot there, and then there's another dot there. In fact, there's like 4 dots here. So you can see that there's 4 dots. So that's your divisions. Okay, so if you do a line and then we want to attach to a dot, you type in NOD, node. Okay, and so we're gonna do a perpendicular and then line again, and then we want to go node. Okay, now if you want to see the dot, because they're very hard to see, they're very small, you can also change your dot type. Okay, by doing a DDP type, and then you can select your kind of dots here, so you can change it to this one, and then click OK, and then there you go. You can now see it clearly. Okay, and then I can attach it using node. Okay, and then find node. Then once I've used the dots, I can now erase them. Okay. Again, that's DDP type. DDP type will change your dots. Okay. Once you've changed it and have used it, you want to put it back to this kind of dot. And then you simply just want to extend this EX and then just click, 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 and click. All right. So we want it to be 5 columns. Now let's try to see whether this one is still good. So we're going to do a Control C, and then we're going to, oh, we're going to select first and then do a Control C. Then go back here and put it here, and now it doesn't fit. Okay, because the style or the blocks would be different. I mean, the columns will be different. Okay, so this is not a one size fits all, but if we have a manipulable text like this, we can simply click on it and then Control C, and then go back here and Control V, and then we paste it there. Now we can change the width very easily, and you can change your height here, text height to 1.8. There you go. Okay, now that's what we want, and you can also change the text style. So if you click that and then pull your style and pull it, make it 75. There you go. Okay. Oh, we put it on, what layer is this? This is on layer 0. So we don't want it to be. So we're gonna change it to layer, and then we want to create a new layer. We're gonna call it notes, and we're going to change this to just um, red for now, and we'll see what the effect of that one is. Okay. Uh, Close it and then click on it, and then change the layer to notes. Okay, and there you have it. Okay. Um, some of the notes from S Notes, if you don't want it small, uh, I believe you can change that. Okay, by clicking here and then double click. Okay, and then you wanted to set the uppercasing. Uh, let me just check where I thought that you can. So let me look that up. Okay, so we're going to. The reason why I can't see the uppercase is because I haven't selected anything. Okay, so we can do a Control A once you've opened this. So double click to open, and then once you open it, you want to select everything. So Control A, and it will select. And then it's this button that's grayed out, I think. So you click that, and you want to switch to uppercase, and everything is uppercase. Right? Then simply click outside. There you go. Okay, so and that is what you will do. You don't want to just copy and paste this because it's going to be more work to copy and paste and be able to change that. Uh, I'm going to just erase this. Erase and erase this one. And we're going to just move this to place like that. Okay. And then you're going to fit uh, the rest of your notes in here. Okay, so the next one here, and there's no really order. Where if you want to do design, if you want to follow design criteria and then foundation, just go ahead. We didn't number ours because we don't want to be um, confined to following the numbering system that the engineer of this project did here. Okay, so again, so we're going to Control C, and then over here Control V, put that there, double click, Control A, change the case to uppercase, click OK, up, and then make sure that it's in layer notes. Okay. In fact, over here, this one is in layer 0. Okay, this is in layer 0. You can already change this to layer notes, but when you import it, it's already done. But yeah, we click on it one, we change the style to Arc 75, and then everything should be capital, and then we can just now move that. Oh, also, to line them up, what I do is I do a line and then I do a insertion here, and then I just pull it down, and then I just move this, and then do a insertion too, and then do a perpendicular here, and then click on this one, and then change that to 1/8. There you go, and then check if it's all lined up. Uh, oh, it didn't. So let's do a line. Let's do a move. Click, and then INS. This might be let me see, double check. Oh, there you go. That's why. Okay, so there's all lined up. You click on this one and then make it wider. And there you go. Okay. And then the next one is we should move this. Um, Yeah, and then if you wanted this to stand out, like for these titles, you double click and you highlight, and then you do a either an underline here and to underline that, or you actually whatever you selected here, you just change its color specifically to a different one. So color and change. You can't change it here because you're under the note, so you have to change it up here. And if you want it a little bit thicker, you put it to green, click close, and you'll see that it's a little bit thicker. Okay, we're going to erase this later, but yeah, so that's how to do it. So we're here to double click, highlight, you put an underline, you change the bilayer color to green, and then it's gonna stand out a little bit. Okay. Now sometimes you need to like change this. Select this one. Number six here. Double click. I want to backspace a little bit, and then I want this. I want to enter from here so that I can press tab and press space so that I can align them. Okay, so you can do it that way too, right? So if you wanted to be a couple of spaces inside, so yeah, do the same thing. You press space, space, or just one space to line them up with everything, and then this one too, you can manipulate that with space. Okay, you can change this, but sometimes depending on how it was done, there's no point because they're not like a lot of paragraph words on it. Okay, and then after design criteria, we have here this notes, and this one might not fit in, but let's see. We're gonna select and Control C, and over here we do a Control V, and you can see that it might not fit in. Select that, change the style to arc 75, change the height to 1/8, and then change the box. Move this here, change the box, and see whether you can change the. Let's see whether you can move INS for insertion, and then you want to insert it somewhere here. Let's just try the endpoint first, and then try to move that down here, and it looks like it'll fit. So click, uh, double click, Control A, change the case to upper, and then see now we need to make some adjustments. Let's see whether you can still move this up here. So we're going to move it a little bit here, and we're going to move this a little bit here. I'm going to just move this to see whether it can really fit. Barely. Yeah, it could barely fit, but that's fine. See if there's anything that we can. I don't think that this one. So let me see if I can put that one line. I know it would really do it two lines. So no. Anything here? So PG. So this one here, I could put that in here. Let's see if I can. Just to add one more space. There you go. I think I can. So that I got that. This one is okay. This one I can't. So I think everything's good now on here. So I gain one more space, so I can move it a little bit, and then double click, highlight, underline, change the color to green, click close, and then that would stand out a little bit. Okay, this is viewport. This is a layer viewport, so we don't need it anymore. So we can just delete this line, up, erase, and then delete. There you go. So we managed to fit that column. Um, Go ahead and go to the next one. I've shown you how to do general, and I've shown you how to do design criteria, and I've shown you how to do foundation. Go ahead and uh, so we've done this. I've done this three. I'll move this so I know that I've done those three. And then so you have one, two, three, a table, and then this one and this one too. Okay. Um, yeah. So go ahead and do that, and we'll come back and work on inserting other stuff. Okay. When you reach this table, you cannot simply click on a table and then change any of the text unless it appears over here. Okay. So you do need to like double click the table and double click the text and then change the text here. And you can also double click and change the uppercase to uppercase, right? So you have to do this cell by cell. Double click the cell, one, two, three. Sometimes you just have to highlight the whole thing by select and drag. Change the height here, 1/8. Change the style here, arc 75. Um, you should also be changing highlight again and change the layer to green. Uh, um, the current layer, no, the current layer is supposed to be clicked and the layer is supposed to be not. So that's fine. Okay. So again, let's try to see this. If it's highlight, change to 1/8. Okay. Click close, and you can see that it did not. So you need to like click this, and then you can move it, and then drag the box to make it wider. Drag this little dot, I mean this grips to uh, widen the columns. Okay, and then press escape to see. And I think I want to still, because when you hover over it, you have this column numbers, and uh, you have to always make sure that oh, that it's not part. These are not part of the box when you're done. Okay, so we may want to adjust that. That's what is that one. And then yeah, so if you want to change the titles, double click, highlight, uh, change, uh, change your layer, change your style. So here, arc 75, text height is 1/8. Okay, we don't want it black, whatever, so we have to change it to by layer. Right now, it's just that it's current layer. It's just use current layer, which is whatever its layer is. It's not just not. So just click done. Oh, we didn't double click. Click that, and then it didn't highlight. And then it says we just change it to by layer. Change it to 1/8. Okay, same thing here. Sometimes when you highlight it and change something, that it loses its selection. So now see that it lost my selection. So make sure that you highlight it again before you change a property. Okay. And then you want this to say by layer. So when you put it to notes, then it's just fine. Okay. So make sure that you change this also, and then you locate it where you need it, and then finish the rest. Okay. For columns that are, for text material that are longer on the space provided, you can just split it. Okay, so you to split it, we're just going to make an extra copy of the column that is longer. There you go. Make sure that you adjust also depending on the size of your column, and make sure they all line up. And over here, we will cut it at a convenient spot, and I think that I shall call it cut it and shall be. Okay, so I simply select everything below and press delete and shall be. And then over here, I will continue on. I didn't adjust this before I moved it. Okay. I will continue on the shall be here on the starting with manufacturer. So double click to adjust, and this one I'm going to delete everything above and press delete. Okay. Press tab to split and then okay. So that's what. Oh, this one we need to fix this. So Just backspace here. Oh, backspace. Put M, and then we're gonna highlight this section, and we are actually going to change and move it over there. This one. There you go. Okay. Because that's a continuation. Click close, and now it's good. American plywood shall be manufactured, and we're just going to bring that up to this one over here. Now, because this is a continuation and these are titles, you don't want to set it up here. So we're going to line it up. I'm going to have to move, click, and then I'm going to have insertion and click here, and then put insertion, click here on this line of text. Doesn't want to connect here, so I'm going to simply do a line because I can't connect at the insertion. This insertion of this whole paragraph is up here, and I don't want that. So I'll just eyeball it. There you go, like that. And then I'll just bring this up and eyeball it like that, and that's good enough. Okay. So here I did not uh, do any table here, not like this one. Okay, so try one with the table and try one without. I just have to line this up correctly. So I'm gonna double click. I'll bring this backspace, and then oh, there's the first tab. The first tab is up here. That's why. So I'm gonna do backspace here, backspace. There you go, and backspace here. This one backspace. Oh, here we have to adjust it back. And then here I want this to be green, and I want this also to be underlined and close it. Okay, so although this one is not really part of this kind of title, it is connected with your wood framing. Oh, by the way, we need to highlight this and change that to green and underline or close. Okay, I would also do the same and apply the same characters for that one. Okay, uh, and then let's continue to do and finish or do the next one. Some of our um, notes have to be adjusted. So, for example, this last note here has a long title, and um, I disagree with that long title. So over here, I will create its own title. I don't want that as a whole title, so I'll put it back to by layer, uh, and I'll remove the underline. I also tried this one and it doesn't sit well with me. So what I'm going to do is I will create a separate title, and I'm going to call it uh, observation by engineer. So I'm going to highlight that. That's going to be my new title. I'm going to underline that, and that's the one that I'm going to put in a green color, and everything else is thin. Okay. So there you go. I think that's the rest of it. Um, we copied and modified uh, these last two. So all of these that are I crossed out, I copied, and we're gonna work on copying um, the abbreviations and um, the legend. Okay, so let's do that. All right, we just finished putting in all our structural notes. By the way, these lines will be erased later when we turn off our viewport. So, oh, wanna, yeah, I want to put my current layer notes, and that's how it's going to look like. Okay, so we're going to put here the abbreviations and our elevations. We don't need this also, so we're going to move this out of the printed page. And then let's go back to our notes over here, and we're going to copy this legend. Okay, so to copy legend, I'm going to simply select and do a copy clipboard, right click copy clipboard or control C if it works for you. And then go back to my page and right click and do a clipboard paste. There you go. Okay. So we wanted to select all of this again and put that in layer notes. We also, while it's selected, we want to change this to color of by layer. And then we don't need this line, so we're going to erase them. And then you will see that there is a shade under. Okay, so we're going to remove that, erase, and select the shade under. Not the text, but the shade under. Okay. Uh, Sometimes it can't translate the shade, I mean the hatch like this one, so it puts the shade. Okay. And depending on whether you have these kinds of shade, then you have to modify the hatch. So for example, when you click on that one, let's say concrete slab on grade, and you have a differentiation, uh, and let's say you're using this, then um, close to hatch editor. Let's see whether we have it there. Layer, I wonder why it doesn't want to set. Anyway, let's just erase this and put a new hatch. So BH and I'll do it. And then that one, and then we change the scale. Uh, let's say 196. Press enter. No, uh, let's put what's the scale in this one? It's too dense. That's why it's showing us that one. I'll just do a region and maybe this one also. It's red layer node, so that's correct. Let's try another one here, and let's try this. And four. No. Let's just make it really big. Sometimes it's having a problem. Let's try a small number, or a small number, 0.25. Let's see if it'll change that. Oh, it doesn't. Okay, we'll just fix that later. Right now we're eating time, so we just need to change all this. And once you've done that, then you can just simply do a match property and match property these. Okay, so erase the shade under and then match property the text and arrange them. I'll show you in a while. Okay. Right. Other issues that may be a problem for you are there's always a hatch behind here, so you make sure that you erase them. This should match your shear wall if you have. So I'm going to erase that. And you might have something like this. Like it doesn't make sense, but it's actually existing uh, foundation wall. Okay. So you have to look at the original PDF file uh, if that's what it said. So, and then let's look at the legend. So this one has a problem with the drawing. Okay, don't know if I can separate them because it's not a drawing. Oop, what happened? Oh, so it looks like it's existing foundation wall, and this one got copied down below. So there was a problem with this PDF file. So we're gonna go back to our AutoCAD and just make sure that everything works well. Double click that, and it's gonna be existing foundation wall. Oh, yeah, and then I'm just gonna change that to an uppercase. All right. So this must match our shear wall and our shear wall. we'll just close this up first. It's um, it's a user-defined hatch, so we're gonna put a hatch, and we're going to put a user-defined hatch, and we're gonna set this at 45. I don't know if 1.8 is yeah 1.8, but I want to change it to like maybe 130 seconds. I think that's it. That's better. Okay, so just click close, and then you can leave this hatch, but basically you have to make sure that this legend matches whatever you used. Okay. For concrete slabs, remember we had a problem with this one a while ago, so we're going to do a hatch again and click the inside. And I'm going to start with a user-defined hatch that is 1/16, and then after that one, I will click OK and then click this and go ahead and find and use the correct hatch that you use. Let's say this one, and if that's too wide, then you just have to adjust this 130 seconds, press enter, and then if that's matching, then that's how it is. You also need to space this out. So you may need to space this out like that manually because we didn't convert this to our manipulable text like this one, so they're separate lines now. Okay, so try to space them out and make sure that these are not too close to each other. You may need to space them out, and I'll show them to you once I'm done with my drawing. Alright, so now that I've spaced all of those two line texts, I'm going to need to make some adjustment. And if let's say I want this to be lined up with this one, then I have to move this whole thing and everything below it, so that I can see that they're now lined up here. And I'll do the same thing here. Oh, I forgot to space this out. Okay, so that's too close now to each other, so I need to maybe do this, and I need to also move this a little bit. Okay, and then because I moved them and I want to space them, this one probably I would move up to line up like that. Too close to each other here, so I want to move everything below it and bring this up. Same thing here, same thing here. And then these are too close to each other, so I'm going to move everything below, and then this one too. I'm gonna okay, and then this last two here. Okay, so properly space. Go ahead and space these out too, and then we'll come back and uh, show you where the location is and work next on it. Okay, so once we have this set up, then we can actually locate that down here. So we may want to just simply just move this and move this down here. You can move and widen them out. Okay, let's turn on our report lines that we know. Okay, you can do it that way. You can move this, and then this legend. We're just going to say legend. So I'm gonna erase that and erase this close, and then just move this. Let's actually change the height of this one to something bigger. 1/4, right? And then draw a visible line to say that everything below this is a legend, like this. Okay, make that and change that color to green. I mean, even a cyan is probably better. There you go, because it's 1/4. Okay. Um, yeah. So what you could do also is move this to the edge, and then start putting in some of these lines or some of these legends. Say this one. I want to put it somewhere here. Let me do my Control F. Right, somewhere over here, and then maybe some of these. I'm also going to put maybe up to here. This one, this whole thing. And move it over here. I'm just eyeballing it. Okay, and then move this and move it up. So, and then move this whole legend setup lower. I think I can still lower that because I want to balance that line. So I'll probably put this whole thing lower and move this to this side like that. I could probably go away. I mean, make it lower again. It's too close. I'm gonna drop it down a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I can probably put this, but I don't want to separate these together. So I'll compromise and move it out as low as that one and just move this lower. Remember, this line is not going to be there. If it's bothering you, can just break it. You can just break. There you go. Okay. And then we're going to work next on our abbreviations. Okay, so we're going to now work on putting in the abbreviations over here. So we'll go back to our notes. And unfortunately, there would have to be hashes that needs to be erased over here. And you can't separate that because we only really have two layers here, def points and that one. So we have to like manually erase this and that one by one. And there's a lot, right? So one thing that probably will work, I haven't tried it yet, is do a fill command and then turn that off and then do a regen and the fill is removed and then maybe we can select this whole thing, Control C, and then go back to our prelim and do a Control V and put that here and see whether there's going to be a hatch and then well the fill is already on here, right? And so we just regen and see if the hatch, oh, there you go. So that worked. We didn't have any hatch that copied over as long as you've typed fill off. Okay, so this is going to be your independent exercise. We're not going to copy the rest. Okay, we're not going to do this and that one again. So it depends on the engineer. Some of them might have a stud schedule or different studs. Some of them might have a diagram like this, and some have purely notes like what we're going to do. But your independent exercise is to make sure you arrange it here. You might end up with three columns instead of two like we did here. Okay, but you should be uh, using the same text. So you have to do a match property or change that, and then look at the style. So you have an underline here, not a whole line, and then the text sites are um, 1/8. Okay, so that's going to be your independent exercise. It's going to be part of your assignment for this week's module. Uh, Finish this sheet, and then that's going to be part of what we're going to turn in for our module. Okay, so good luck to everybody and enjoy.